guys, I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran, over here with Yanzi, and we talking comics once again today, talking about the good old comic books. Marvel, not so good, though. There was a job listing. I think I first heard Neon from Clownfish bring this up in another video that, not exactly on this, but it was brought up. And I was like, where the hell is this job listing at? And then I saw this on Fandom Pulse. There's some speculation here, but it's actually grounded with a healthy amount of paranoia. Okay, so comic sales we've talked about on this channel, they're kind of, nobody really knows what comics are selling. Why? Because the distribution has been busted up so much between Penguin and Random House and Diamond and stuff like that, that nobody has a really good gauge, because they're all in different fields pretty much of distribution, and publishers don't really release their numbers only if they're wanting to brag. Nobody's really bragging right now about any comic sales. So Marvel, and this is interesting, it looks like there's a job listing for somebody to come in and actually see what the sales analytics are for Marvel Comics. Why would that happen? You're like, Shane, that's crazy. Why would somebody just must have quit? No. You have to understand, Disney owns Marvel. Disney bought Marvel and Fox and a bunch of things just because they wanted the media rights, because they were going into streaming. And basically, in the case of Disney, they wanted that teenage boy demographic. And what better things to buy than things like Star Wars, than things like Marvel. And then over time, they're like, what if we put dresses on all the characters? What if we mix it up a little bit? What if we SJW this shit? The Force is female. So after they've rode this horse off a cliff, now they have to be like, yeah, did we ever want horses to begin with? What do horses actually sell? So Marvel, and we've talked about this in previous video, right, Yanzi, that they're doing less and less media per year.
Yeah, there used to be what they want to say, one new Star Wars movie every single year. And now I don't even think we know when the next Star Wars movie is coming out, if at all. So back to this topic about this new job position that seems to herald a bit of doom and gloom for Marvel Publishing. Now, I want to point out here, though, the interesting part is that you are working for Marvel Studios here, and there'll be an explanation why it's Marvel Studios instead of Marvel Entertainment, which is what the publishing arm is, all right? But Marvel Studio published for this job, Publishing Operations Analyst. So the position will help maintain key budgeting processes for Marvel's print publishing business. It will also be responsible for coordinating the weekly print run process, working across sales, distribution, ops, and manufacturing to relay final print quantities and obtain necessary approvals. It's also the go-to source for all ad hoc print modeling and analysts. So in a nutshell, it's basically, for too long, we've been letting Marvel Comics just run unfettered. Now we want to see, actually, when they say, yeah, we're selling 100,000 copies of Spider-Man every month, they want to know, okay, and how many of those are actually returned or extras that they print to give to retailers and all these other strange Hollywood accounting methods, basically.
Right.
They want to know exactly how many people are buying and reading these things instead of just languishing somewhere or in some landfill.
I'm going to give an example of that. When Matt Fraction's, I think, Defenders came out. Maybe I'm mixing the name up, but I'm pretty sure it was the Defenders #1. Terry Dodson drew it. And I remember my retailer saying, like, Marvel actually shipped me extra free copies of these. Do you want one? I'm like, why are you getting free copies? He's like, sometimes when a book hasn't got a lot of heat in it, Marvel will give me free copies that I didn't even order. So I either sell them and make money, or I just put them in people's bags for free, and then maybe you'll buy 2 or 3. The reality is Marvel's not that generous. What's actually happening is Marvel is printing and adding and fluffing up the numbers because they have to show their superiors, hey, this is our print number, that's our sales number. See, the reality is the tracking for sales in the American comic book industry is orders for the books, not what's sold. It's very important to this story, is what's ordered. Well, who determines what's ordered? The number that you go to print with. Who determines that? Marvel. Marvel could technically fluff their own books. I hate to say that there's a big case of this at Marvel, because the sales probably don't look good. But would people at Marvel actually overprint books and hand them out for free or fluff up orders from retailers of material they don't even need. Maybe these things just go into a dumpster. I have no idea. But it is that possible that Marvel would print books to make it look like they're selling more to retailers. I have no idea. And I'm going to go into a little bit of story here. When I worked at DC Comics, 1700 Broadway, I started working in comics in the licensing department. And the licensing department is like all the artwork that you would see like on lunch bags, sticker books, activity books. I still see that artwork today on product, drawn 20 some years prior. There was that department. There was DC Comics that made the cool comics with your favorite characters. Some characters you never wanted a comic from, but they were there and they existed to kind of fluff out the DC universe. And then eventually there was DC Direct. DC Direct making their own high brand action figure, not worrying about licensing out, making high-end statues that would be direct to comic shops. So there was a time, without naming names, somebody kept referring to me that when Hollywood comes in, and this person was working on a big Wolverine movie at the time. He told me, when Hollywood comes in on comics, there's no stopping it until they destroy it. And I'm like, what do you mean? Comics is good. And, you're talking like 20 years ago, somebody's telling me this. That's what Hollywood does. They come in at things, they oversaturate it, they do it too much, and they destroy it. And then he goes on to say, everything at DC Comics, those books are cooked. And when Hollywood finds out what comics actually sell, it's over. That brings me to this. When DC Comics was bought, they went to Burbank. 2 departments got pulled out of 1700 Broadway. The licensing department was the first to go out there. The publishing division stayed in New York. And then the other department, DC Direct, went to Burbank. And right then and there, you could see what comics actually made. Why? Because the money had been busted up. So you have to think from Warner Brothers' perspective. Before then, they just saw 1700 Broadway, 3 departments in one building, tied together by these characters that we really weren't doing a lot with in movies. And somehow these characters are just generating this money. But you start breaking it apart. What do comic books actually produce in money? Some make a lot of money. Some lose a lot of money. You'd be surprised at just advertising a new imprint, how much marketing dollars goes into that. And it's a big gamble for publishers. And this is something that DC Comics would do constantly. So today we're looking at that similar situation, but obviously Disney is looking at what does Marvel Comics actually produce as far as revenue with comics. Are we at that point where these characters are in video games, they're in toys, Hasbro sales are down, Marvel toys are littering your local outlet stores? There's eternal figures that will sit on the shelves from here until my grandchildren. Okay, there's tons of Marvel product that will not sell. What is Marvel Comics actually selling? Are we past the time where every comic at Marvel, every IP, whether it be Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah, the comic doesn't sell, but that could be a $1 billion movie franchise? They may be past that. We're talking about looking at this weekend's box office with Furiosa. I mean, the Garfield movie did the same or better, and that's a high budget action adventure film off a brand. I mean, if Hollywood's going down, it's going to take comics with it.
Which definitely brings up the point of why this job is suddenly posted. So you look at the responsibilities of this analyst position, and you can see the word P&L, which is profit and loss, being thrown about liberally. 1, 2, 3, 4 times the word P&L is brought up in the responsibilities. So they're definitely really looking at the accounting for this. So see, regularly review and update cost information, including manufacturing and creative. Managing weekly print run process, new project memo process. So you see, create profit and loss and routing for approval. So now, guys, just because you say we want to have female or black or gay or whatever rep, they're not just gonna say, great, stamp approved. They're gonna say, run the P&L first.
Right. You guys can go check this out and kind of speculate what this will mean and everything. But from my perspective, working in comics, this person's going to come in with this job, bean counting, And the first thing to do in business, which is a very short-sighted thing to do, but that's what they're going to do to make the numbers on the spreadsheet look good, is cut costs. That is the problem. Cut costs, raise prices. Right now, the American comic book industry, the talent pool, the quality of books is directly tied to the sales, I believe. I don't know, but it's happened over such a long period of time. If you throw in a spike of talent, I don't know if you'll get a spike in sales. There's been tons of customers ran off. You know, we're seeing Marvel and DC reprinting their crossovers right now. Both companies are in desperate need for a boost in sales. We're seeing people like Greg Capullo stepping up to bat for a Wolverine #1. There's a lot of signs that the direct market is wanting a change, but very stingy in how they're going to spend the money to make the change. This guy, this job, looking at P&Ls, they're going to say up prices, cut costs. And it's just a quicker burnout of the American comic book industry. I fear, I could be wrong. Maybe this guy will come in and be like, we got to spend some more money to make some money. And maybe after we make some more money in comics, then people want the movies again. Maybe they'll want the toys. I don't know. I see a lot of Todd McFarlane DC Comics figures always on the shelf. I've never not been able to find one of those things sitting at a Target, and I don't buy them. Things like G.I. Joe, Transformers, those things are hard to find. I believe people are not buying comic stuff right now. I really do. I do believe in superhero fatigue. I think it's a thing. I hate it. I'm not pro it at all. But I can't blame people who are fed up with it either, considering the comics that are being generated. And I think having a profits and loss person coming in is just a guy, he's coming in to close it out. I mean, I hate to say that. That's the fear here, right? Because they can't bust Marvel up anymore. It's not like Marvel is the Marvel Comics publishing division. They're getting laser fixed here. What do the comics cost? What do the comics make? What are we actually doing this for? For a pamphlet sitting on a comic book shop that nobody's ordering? If the comics shops were not switching to manga, that would make a difference to Marvel, because it's like, yeah, we're sitting on the shelf. We're losing some money. We're advertising a brand. And you'll hear people like Perch and people say that's what they're going to do. That shit doesn't work when fucking Chainsaw Man's sitting there instead of Squirrel Girl. They're not going to waste money on a pamphlet that never even makes it into a brick and mortar store. Anyways, guys, if you will, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification. Inglorious Rex 2 is on fire. Well received. Everybody loving it. We have Inglorious Rex 3 coming up. If you guys will, please go sign up. Get this lenticular card on secret tier with purchase. All the great stuff you get for signing up for the campaign. Costs you nothing. Put you in your email. Maybe get yourself a discount. I'll leave you guys with the trailer for Inglorious Rex 2, Heavy is the Crown, and we will be coming up with some trailers and stuff for Inglorious Rex 3. Catch you guys again with another video.
Stepped on the scene, I got greatness all in my jeans. Ain't no way that I can slow down. I'm laced up, look how I shake the ground. Can't touch the crown, but you can kiss the ring. Close your eyes and see how I live a dream. I'm too smooth, MJ with the lean. Don't be fooled, I came through with the team. This is over their heads, how high can it go? I'm too over the edge, got my eyes on the goal. And we right back at it, keep them right on their toes. Look at the way that I move, this is all that I know. Cause I got the drive, I put it in gear. Line them up, I don't see no competitor team. If it ain't first place, we really can't settle for it. Listen up, get ready for it.